hello. I have what I hope is good news to members of Trinity Lutheran Church and friends of Trinity Lutheran Church, and that is that at the council meeting on July 28th, the council voted to try to do in-person worship starting on Wednesday evening, August 19th, 6:30 p.m., outside in our courtyard, or front lawn as some of us call it. I want to talk a little bit about that decision, why we made that decision, and what you can expect. Now, the desire to get back to in-person worship is very strong. Speaking for myself, I hate doing things remotely. I want to be back in person as quickly as possible. We also know it's not safe for a number of reasons. One of the biggest reasons why it's not safe has to do with aerosols. We've heard the stories many, many times about what aerosols are and what they do, but it bears repeating as it comes into play for worship. When we're just talking, we produce droplets, and a mask, like this lovely one from the Emily Lightsky collection, covers your face, and you don't make droplets get on your friends. But when you're singing, you don't just produce droplets, you produce aerosols. And what I've found to be the best example of this is if you're in a store and someone sprays perfume to test it, the droplets may not get on you. They may get on the person who's trying the perfume if it's not you. But you still smell it. What you smell is the aerosol. What we know about COVID, or are pretty sure about COVID, is that it travels through droplets and through aerosols. Aerosols can linger for 30 minutes or more. Especially if you're inside, that makes for a very dangerous setting. The longer you are sitting exposed to them, the likelier you are to become infected. And while masks will stop you from spreading droplets to someone else, they do not stop you from sharing aerosols or inhaling them, unless you're wearing a special N95 mask. And healthcare workers who are on the front lines need those far more than we do to have church. Because singing and also playing wind instruments, and also doing things like talking loudly enough to be heard, say like a preacher might do, create that dangerous situation. We looked at what could worship be if we weren't able to sing, if preaching was going to be iffy, and if a lot of our instrumental music was going to be really not a good idea to do. When you get down to it, worship as we've been doing it online on Sundays, or whenever you watch the YouTube video, is closer to the old normal than what we would be able to do in person safely. Now, I know a lot of other churches have decided to go back to in-person worship. They've used their own rationale for those purposes, but our joint worship and safety teams felt that this was not something that Trinity could do, and the council approved of that decision. So we will continue to worship online on the weekend. On every Sunday, a worship service will be published to YouTube. It will include music that our musicians have performed. Su Ping and Janet have worked tirelessly to figure out how to make that happen, have learned how to mix music. Those of you who are involved in that know you record something, you send it on the way, and then magically it is mixed into this beautiful song that gets aired on Sunday or whenever. We'll continue to do that, and that'll continue to be our main weekend presence. But we can gather safely in ways that mitigate the risk of aerosols. One of the biggest things, of course, we can do to mitigate the risk of droplets is wear masks. So when we gather, we will be wearing masks. But there are a couple of other things we're doing. One thing we'll do is limit the size of the gathering to 50 people. This is for contact tracing purposes. We don't want it to happen, but if an infection is traced back to our worship, we want to know who was there that evening. So a sign-up sheet will be available. One will be emailed out to you, or you can sign up in person. It'll be posted on this desk outside of the office. The biggest step we're taking is worshiping outside. By being outside, we allow the aerosols to disperse much more quickly. That considerably reduces the likelihood of anybody being infected. When you show up, an usher will seat you 6 feet to the side of the previous household that arrived, and we'll just form a circle around the courtyard. This gives us a lovely view of our building, the newly completed roof, the front door, our iconic front door, and a chance to enjoy nature and, of course, whatever lovely sound downtown Valparaiso is producing at the time. This is a chance for us to see each other as well, to talk to each other in a safe and physically distanced manner. We'll use the inside of the building only in a limited manner if you have to run in and use the restroom, and the tower door will be open for that purpose. Now, this video was shot about 2:20 in the afternoon. You can see the sun is already behind the nave roof. By 6:30 p.m., nobody on the front lawn should have sun in their eyes. Now, if the weather will not cooperate with us being outside for whatever reason, we still want to be able to go ahead and gather for worship. And what we'll do then is we'll come into the nave, but we're going to be taking a few steps to make being in the nave safer. You'll notice this lovely view of our front pew. Some things are missing. Pencils, envelopes, hymnals, Bibles, and, yes, the pew cushion. We wanted to make sure that there was as little in here that people could touch and share by accident, and to make the space as easy to clean and wipe down when we're done as possible. So you'll have a slightly harder seat and nothing to play with during worship. Speaking of that front row, we will be seating ourselves from front to back and skipping every other pew. So one household per pew. That'll help us have distancing between us while we're inside, and will cut down on the likelihood of exposure. Sorry for those of you that love to sit in the back. You're sitting up front. Now, one more thing. I know that one of the biggest things I miss in worshiping in person is not even the worship, sadly. It's the getting to see everybody. I have missed doing that. I've missed the fellowship time following that. We were having fellowship by Zoom for a while. It was lovely. It still was not the same. And the experience of being in church together is something that's hard to maintain doing worship the way we are. Right now, in order for us to bring you music that is the quality that we're able to deliver, we need to continue recording. But we'd like to be able to interact with each other at the same time in something like real time. So, starting this week, Trinity's weekend worship service will be a YouTube premiere. What that means, and we hope it works, is that you'll get a link, as you have been, emailed to you. The emails, we've tried to schedule them to come out at midnight, Central Time. You'll get a link to where the YouTube service is. If you click on that link prior to 9 a.m. Sunday, you'll go to a page where it says the video will premiere here, but there's also a chat feature. You can talk to whoever else is logged in. You can leave messages at any point, and then when the video goes live, you can talk to each other during worship. This is a time when Pastor is encouraging you to text during the sermon. This allows us to interact, share what we're thinking and feeling about how things are going in the worship service. When the service ends, when the video ends that first time, it will remain online and you can watch it whenever. So if you're one of those people who I watch Trinity's worship service at 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and we know from our analytics that some of us are doing that, you can still do that. The video will be there forever. You won't be able to continue chatting, though you can comment as you always have been able. So that is a way we're going to try. We're going to see how that works for us to be able to interact with each other. There'll be some more instructions about that in what comes out in the email. But basically, you click on the link, and we're going to aim for a 9 a.m. Sunday premiere. We'll see what happens. Thank you for bearing with us through all of this. We will eventually be able to go back to Sunday mornings in person with communion. Right now, this is what we're able to do. And we thank you for trusting us to come up with what is safe and still a way for us to be together. So, we'll see you Sunday, Wednesday or whenever.